Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions this fine Monday evening. We are in the California sunshine at Long Beach for round one of the Podium, for round five, sorry, of the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship. Still got to get some more of that coffee down here in the booth. My name is Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. Zippy, we are at Long Beach for a round where many drivers expect a brutal trial of survival. This is Concrete Canyon, this place, an iconic layout though, an iconic track, an iconic stretch down Shoreline Drive that's going to be beckoning the drivers today.
Yeah, definitely a fun circuit indeed, and a street circuit at that. Certainly we had the pleasure of commentating one of those on Saturday as well. But certainly it's going to be an absolute belter of a race, as it always is here at Podium 1. We've got two races happening this evening for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the night off with GT4s and indeed TCRs sharing the track in a multi-class spectacle here at Long Beach. Before we head over to the GT3 class, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be GTD Pro and indeed GTD, two different championships, one track. It's going to be an absolute belter of a day. But Reese, before we get too far into that, let's take a look indeed where we've been and where we're going.
We started off the season at Sebring, Belle Isle, Misano, and Imola. The first 4 rounds of the season. Long Beach, we are here on February the 16th. It's quite the interesting season. 10 rounds that these drivers will have. Daytona is happening next week. Then we go to Road Atlanta. Then Adelaide on March the 9th. Looking forward to that one in particular. Miami and Indianapolis to end off the season in the United States. But a few international trips here and there, Zippy. Yeah, I'm very much hyped for Adelaide. Going to be another street circuit like Long Beach, and it's geographically the closest iRacing circuit to me in my own country. So I suppose you could call that my home round.
Yeah, I definitely sympathize with what it is to have your home track very, very rarely make an appearance. Cadwell Park, be in mind, ladies and gentlemen, just 1 hour from where I aged, ladies and gentlemen, for the majority of my life. I say age, I didn't really grow up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still very much a kid at heart, or at least that's what some people would lead you to believe. But I've got to say, definitely some beautiful scenic views here at Long Beach. The palm trees looking pretty good, looking pretty refreshing, and indeed some beautiful architecture as well. But before we get into that, let's have a look here very quickly at our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Reese, if you'd like to start us off with Carbless.
Absolutely. Returning sponsor, offering a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories.
Well, indeed, absolutely fantastic stuff. As we head on over to something that's a little bit more in my department, ladies and gentlemen, it's electrical in the form of Nixon Power, a new series sponsor headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee. And not only that, they focus exclusively on power generation. They provide industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts for. Ladies and gentlemen, if you live anywhere like I do, the wonderful place that we call Nova Scotia, there's one power utility, and honestly, they suck. And they're actually getting a class action lawsuit against them at the minute. The province is indeed fighting back as the people. But indeed, if that power goes out, you want to make sure you can stay online and indeed stay running, you need to contact Nixon Power Service out in Brentwood, Tennessee.
Moza Racing is a fast-growing brand making high-performance sim racing hardware for PC and console VR and flight simulation. Known for affordable, powerful direct-drive wheelbases, modular wheels and pedals, Moza offers a full automotive-engineered ecosystem from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear. Certainly consider Moza for your next sim racing hardware purchase.
And definitely, we both myself and Reese would like to play one of those truck wheels as well. We've both had a little bit of an inkling for that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to see us playing American Truck Simulator or indeed Euro Truck Simulator on Pit Road Productions, by all means, let us know. We'd definitely get a giggle out of that. Indeed, we are old men at heart should the occasion take us. But let's take a look here at Speed Designs. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is an absolute artist, and indeed he's located in Phoenix, Arizona, specializing in custom helmet painting, providing unique, modern and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula One, IMSA, pro karting, NASCAR and dirt track racing. Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on him. He is not only a very talented artist, he is a gentleman to deal with as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Speed Designs.
And last but not least, Podium Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components from companies such as Fanatec, Azatek, and Cubic Motion Systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. If you're looking to step up your sim racing hardware game as well, consider Podium, title sponsor of this series and the reason we are here in the first place. Qualifying is on at the moment for GT4 and TCR. While we have a moment, I think we should take a look at the championship points for this first category that is racing today. The GT4s see Amrit Vestrala taking the championship lead over Doug Sorrentino. Sorrentino has dominated the championship for the first half of the season, but Vestrala in the Mustang is fighting back. Maxwell Budd only 2 points behind Sorrentino as well. The standings looking incredibly close there in a category that has provided some very close action.
Having a look here at the TCR class, indeed, it's been fought with battles, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. You can see it here in the point standings. Michael Pacheco has a little bit of a leg up. He's 25 points clear there in the lead, but look at this battle for second. Joint with 283 points is Andrew Gorov and indeed Drew Martin battling it out. Javi Sierra, though, he's been incredibly potent in the last couple of rounds. Indeed, are we going to see him make a run for the championship win? CJ Conklin as well, when he's not in race control for the GTD classes, he is indeed racing here in the TCRs, and despite that, he's managed to get 243 points, very much in the running. Further down, though, Quinn Manders and Scott Laurenti, just 2 points between them, battling it out for P6.
Indeed, Zeke Sauter, Jackson Bush and Simon Carter rounding out the competitors in the TCRs for this season. And we get a nice view of that last corner at Long Beach, the super tight hairpin. This is a fantastic circuit. It's one of my favorite street circuits on the planet, and it certainly has an awful lot of fun times to bring here. With just 2.5 minutes remaining in the session, Doug Sorrentino about to start a lap here. It's all about the exit from the hairpin. You need to make sure you get the nicest run possible onto Shoreline Drive and be very careful indeed not to spin the wheels up. Starting the lap through this incredibly fast left-hander, stick as close to the wall as you can, tighten the line on the run into turn 1. Doug Sorrentino braking at about the 500 marker into second gear for the first turn, nice and smooth on the power, into the chicane here around the roundabout, just brushing the brushes there on the right-hand side. Tight right-hander to lead you into this little dogleg section. You can cut all the way across that curb, but you got to be careful of the oversteer on the exit. It's off camber with some big bumps at the apex of that corner. Short straight coming into turn 6 and 7. Just try to kiss the wall on the inside. The curb is painted and flat there, and it's same at turn 8 as well. Little bit of sawtooth on the way in, but the track narrows up on the exit. That's the more important thing about this corner. You've got to be very careful for your trajectory to get the best run possible down this back straight. Then we will dip right into a car park for the final sector, cutting across the curb as much as you can. The geometric fastest line is best here, just bouncing off those ripple strips for the run into the final hairpin, winding on all the steering lock, the slowest corner on the circuit, and one of the slowest corners on iRacing for that matter. That is a lap of Long Beach in the hands of former championship leader Doug Sorrentino, and he will set a 1:24.7 on that lap. It's about half a second off his best time so far. He currently sits on provisional pole.
I gotta say, what an absolutely fantastic experience we got here on Pit Road Productions to have such a phenomenal championship and such close competition as well. Because right now, looking at the GT4 standings, indeed, Maxwell Budd is clear of Pierce Fox by just 0.04 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, in the TCRs, you see Javi Sierra yet again at the front row there. But indeed, further back, Michael Pacheco now getting into a little bit of a challenge potentially. Can he find an improvement here to try and take it away from Javi Sierra?
This is the question. Javi currently sitting on a 1:27.5. Pacheco is about 8/10 off that pace at the moment, so he needs a miracle in these last couple of moments to find that extra pace. It would appear that Javi Sierra's Honda Civic is well suited to the bumps at Long Beach here. The Audi that Michael Pacheco is driving, a slightly shorter wheelbase. It'll turn a bit more effectively, which should make it more maneuverable in those tighter quarters.
You can see there, Doug Sorrentino as well in the GT4 class has gone purple in Sector 2. Don't wrong, he's already in the lead there. But Amrit Vestrala, definitely a little bit down on pace today, potentially from where I'd expect him to see. He's saying that he's still in P4. We do have to wonder what he can do to fight back. But Long Beach, turn 1, almost infamous, ladies and gentlemen. I do expect to see some incidents going around the fountain. But the question is right now, can Michael Pacheco find his way ahead of Javi Sierra? Definitely has applied good pressure. Indeed, he used the last GT4 out there on the track right now. Sorry, the last TCR. Can he do it, ladies and gentlemen, as he brings it across the line? And it is not an improvement. 128.56.
Yes, he was yellow in all sectors there. Amit Vestrala puts his final lap in, and it's a mere 0.02 of a second slower than his fastest lap. So struggling to find improvement there in the later stages of qualifying. It would appear that it's a combination of the track and the attributes of his car there. The Mustang that Vestrala is driving does tend to be a bit of a boat at times, especially when it comes to the rear end. Probably not as well suited to a track like this as maybe Doug Sorrentino's Mercedes or Pierce Fox's Porsche. But with just 20 seconds remaining, we'll see what Doug Sorrentino can do to bring it to the line. The session has already ended. We are in overtime at the moment, so extra time to finish a lap that you're currently on. Can Sorrentino make it to the line in time? Well, he's going to practice pit entry, evidently. No pit stop will be required for the GT4s from previous rounds, but we are expecting the TCRs may have to come in for a stop over the 30-minute race to come. And in just a few seconds' time, we'll be going through the grid. Doug Sorrentino with some fantastic pace in qualifying. A 1:24.1 will put him on pole alongside his fellow Mercedes of Maxwell Budd. We have Pierce Fox starting third in the Porsche Cayman alongside Amrit Vestrala, new championship leader in the Mustang. Tommy Pulte and Dustin Warren will be 5th and 6th. Then it's Sean Phillips and Joshua Travis 7th and 8th. Jack Minter will start 9th and last in our TCRs, with Javi Sierra and Michael Pacheco being your front row in the TCRs. Quinn Manders and Andrew Garov behind them. Then it's Drew Martin, Scott Laurenti, and CJ Conklin rounding out the field. 16 cars here for this first race of the night, but two very competitive categories. The multi-class aspect of this, Zippy, I'm looking forward to seeing. We haven't seen this sort of multi-class setup at a street circuit yet.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be really, really interesting. Certainly, the biggest thing is that last corner. Should you need to make a pass through there, I got a feeling it's going to end a little bit questionable. Myself, I would make a pass there, but I may be the minority in doing so. I am of the opinion where any corner is a passing opportunity, anywhere on the track is a passing opportunity as long as it's a legitimate move. But you see there, Doug Sorrentino, and to quote our good friend Rob Campbell, giving it the old razzle dazzle as we're currently sitting on the back bumper of the pace car, getting ready to get underway.
Yep, we are certainly Seeing Doug Sorrentino signal his intentions for that one. Some great pace in qualifying. About 3/10 faster almost than Maxwell Budd over a single lap. So looking forward to seeing what he can put down here on the first lap. But the drivers will need to be careful of cold tires. The GT4s are on ice skates when you're starting on a new set. And around a track like this, cold tires are absolutely your enemy. Track temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. I think that's around about 75 to 78 Fahrenheit or something like that. So it looks like the drivers will have to wait a little bit before their tires are up to temperature.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to rush that. Certainly, it can end in a pretty costly mistake. Certainly, we're grateful that we do not have to pay for repairs on these cars, or indeed feel the real-life consequences should these things have a little bit of a detour. But certainly, myself, I've always been quite a gradual to bring it in. But saying that, should an opportunity present itself to make it an easy couple of passes at the start, I'm all over it. I'm definitely one for the quick out of the box and slow on the long burn.
Yeah. Indeed. We'll see how many of the drivers take that philosophy here as they're coming up to the final corners now. Pace car will pull into the pit lane and then the field will fall under the control of Doug Sorrentino. GT4s and TCRs will be starting separately here. There's a good gap between the classes. Make your way through the final corner as best you can on the formation lap. If you're stuck on the inside, it can be quite a trial. But everyone forms up there out of the final corner, and as soon as they are, Doug Sorrentino puts the power down, and the green flag flies at Long Beach. GT4 getting off to a clean start here with Sorrentino already trying to pull away from Maxwell Budd, but the slipstream will kick in for a brief moment on the way into the first corner. P.S. Fox a bit later on the brakes there. He thought about going for the move. So did Sean Phillips, who was on the brakes a bit late in the Mustang. But other than that, a clean start in GT4 as TCR is now away.
Yeah, you can see Harry Sierra there able to get a little bit of a lead at the start. He's already cleared by 0.6 of a second. Indeed, Quinn Manders starting to fall back. He's about 1.6 seconds clear, but I have a feeling something may have gone on, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. It is just, no, something has gone on. What's gone on here? Oh, my word. That is not the place you want to park. Beautiful livery there by Joshua Travis, but indeed, the field coming to a complete stop. And yes, we've gone for a full course yellow, ladies and gentlemen. Joshua Travis spins around, and indeed, the pace car comes back out.
Yeah, it looked like that was a solo error there from Joshua Travis. It's that particular corner is very easy to lose the rear end through. We'll see his first sector on board here. He was trying his best to get up to speed in the BMW, which is quite a nice GT4 car. Cranking on the lock as best you can, but when he comes to this right-hander here, over a bump, it looks like the rear end just went on him, and unfortunately, Jack Minter had nowhere to go. So two cars involved in a very narrow section of the track. Our TCR leaders just avoiding hitting them there. There was enough room for the TCR field to sneak through, apart from Jack Minter pulling out there, ahead of, I believe that was Drew Martin, or Andrew Garov. But regardless, actually, no, it wasn't Andrew Garov. It might have been, who's that ahead of Scott Laurenti?
Oh, we are going to try and find that out for you there, sir. It might have been CJ. It was CJ Conklin.
Ah, it is. It is indeed. It's our league administrator there who unfortunately had to stamp on the brakes there. And it looks like CJ's towed back to pit lane, so something's gone wrong for him. Regardless, first time we have seen the safety car make an appearance in this championship. And, well, it makes sense that we saw it here at Long Beach. What exactly happened to CJ here? It looks like he just pulled off and decided to call it a day there.
I do have to wonder if it was maybe because he was out of uniform, Reese, honestly. That's the best thing that I can think of. But indeed, it looks like it's going to be Doug Sorrentino who's going to take it away for us yet again here.
Yes, indeed. So, a caution period now. This could be a good opportunity for the TCRs to save some fuel. Every round so far, we've seen the TCR class have to take a pit stop, but only a very short one, just a splash to get to the end. Potentially, this reduced running under safety car will provide them the opportunity to extend their stint at least, shorten their pit stop, maybe eliminate it entirely. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, just bear with us here a second, ladies and gentlemen. It appears that the overlay has decided to eat the dust, but bear with us. We are going to be right back there. There we go.
Lovely.
I don't think it approved of CJ towing to the pits.
Evidently not. Well, the GT4s are wasting no time making sure that their tyres get back up to temperature. There's some very aggressive weaving under safety car from our leaders. And the question is, will that be enough, though? With the track temperature being as cool as it is, we may see a little bit more drama when they get back up to speed again. Lights on the pace car are still very much on, so we're going to be around here for at least another lap here. Looks like CJ in race control is removing the pace lap, the extra pace lap, so we should be going green at the end of this one.
Yeah, certainly race control having to step in, ladies and gentlemen. We got to thank iRacing control as well for providing the software to do that, and fair play to them. But in the meantime, let's take a quick peek here as we can get a live camera feed from race control itself.
Yeah, you'll see CJ Conklin watching the screen, which we cannot see. But if you're curious about iRace Control's interface, we will be showcasing it in mid-March when the next iRace Control Enduro comes around. It's been really awesome to have that event become part of the Pit Road Productions roster.
Yeah, absolutely. 15th of March, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be on a Sunday night, and it's going to be a 3-hour endurance race going around Sebring. So certainly, if you want to take part in that, by all means, we could help get you in contact there. And indeed, I would expect to see a few drivers making attendance for that, seeing the software at work. Indeed, not only that, it's here in the Podium 1 Fixed Championship.
Yep. Fantastic stuff. iRace Control already being used by multiple leagues. It's a really comprehensive race control, administration, management software with lots of great options. So we'll see then the application of it here in action as the pace lap has now been removed and lights off on the pace car. That means we're going to be going green this time by.
Well, absolutely fantastic stuff. And certainly, one thing we do want to encourage as well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are ever driving in one of the shows we're putting on, we have a live RaceComs Discord channel. If you're in there, why do we want you in there? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's so we can go and talk to you during the race. This little safety car moment we just had, I would have loved to have talked to Tommy Polte, for example, Andrew Garob, any of these drivers, indeed featured you on camera as well. If you want to be more involved in the show than you already are, by all means, this is the way to do it. And if you're a little bit unsure or you just want to be, you know, you want to hang out with your friends in that channel, just put like a star at the end of your name and I'll know not to drag you in. But certainly, it's something that we'd like to see here a bit more on Pit Road Productions. But right now, though, Doug Sorrentino is going to get ready to take this race back underway for the restart.
Righto, here we go then. Let's see what kind of restart we can get here. Jack Minter and Joshua Travis will restart in the middle of the TCR field. They've been separated from their own class here. Sorrentino waiting to get up to speed here. Looks like he's put the power down now and the green flag is back out. So away we go once again. Sorrentino running away with it. Now we're seeing Pierce Fox come under pressure from Amrit Vestrala. The straight line speed of the Mustang on full display here, but it's defensive for the number 24 as they come into turn 1. Fox a bit later on the brakes into turn 1. Is that going to work out for him? Side by side behind. My goodness. Dustin Warren and Tommy Polte there sorting themselves out only just in time for the roundabout chicane. But other than that, it's looking like a clean start from the GT4s. TCR's back up to speed meanwhile. Javi Sierra will keep his lead over Michael Pacheco as Joshua Travis then has to give way for Scott Laurenti.
Yeah, I have a feeling something else may have happened to him. I don't know quite exactly what sure did indeed happen. But let's go back to the front of this field as Amrit Pastrana has indeed found his way past Pierce Fox. That's a little bit of a wiggle there. Pierce Fox pulls out in the Porsche, and already you can see Dustin Warren right behind, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have a front row seat for this battle as they go side by side around the right-hander. It's going to be Fox on the inside, Pastrana on the outside, and then we're going to see an opportunity here for Dustin Warren. It looks like he's going to try and make it go down the outside. Is he going to be able to pull it off? It's Porsche versus Mustang.
Really wide line there for Emirates Estrella. Some slight contact on the exit, but that really wide line has given him a great exit out of the corner, and so he won't have any pressure from Dustin Warren down the straight. But you can see Emirates Estrella potentially struggling a bit there in the Mustang. It seems that he hasn't gotten up to speed as well as he'd like, and he's been struggling with the behavior of his car a little bit. Some oversteer, understeer in places. He's late on brakes into turn 1 as well. I think he's pushed those tires a bit too hard already.
Yeah, he is definitely making that Mustang sweat, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the horse is nimble, but not nimble enough for the streets of Long Beach. Certainly, it's having a little bit of a disadvantage here. They'd have to wonder if he's maybe got a little bit of damage on that right front corner. I'm not entirely sure. Reese, let me know your opinion there. I have suspicions, though. That right front corner, we'll take a quick peek.
It is. It does have a bit of damage to it, does the right front. But I don't know if that is going to result in some suspension damage. Estrella gets a much smoother exit out of the right hander that time, and it looks like he'll have a nice time down the straight. I'm going to go back and have a look and see where he picked up that damage.
By all means, Reese Gardner there. And meanwhile, we're going to ride here with the number 44 of Dustin Warren. We have had the pleasure of interviewing him before. Are we going to get to do it again right now? The Doc Sorrentino, he's clear of the lead by about 7/10 of a second. But the Porsche of Dustin Warren applying all of the pressures. I believe something might have happened with Sean Phillips. Indeed, he has. He's had a spin there going into the last corner. He backs up the Mustang, and there comes the TCR field as Javi Sierra. Michael Pacheco makes his way by. Quinn Manders, absolutely catastrophic place to have an incident. Indeed, are we going to see another full course caution come out? He has stopped that car for the sake of safety, and indeed we managed to keep this flag under green flag conditions.
All right, that's all well and good then. I've just gone back to check where Estrella picked up the damage as we we'll get another view potentially of Sean Phillips there, maybe not. It was actually on the initial race start where Estrella picked up that damage. A tight line through the chicane and slight contact with the car ahead. That's what did it for him, but evidently it hasn't affected his car behavior all that much. It's on for third in TCR, then Quinn Manders and Drew Martin battling as hard as they dare. Audi versus Honda, as we see Jack Minter in the background in the GT4 there. Martin will get an all right run down the straight here, but not quite enough to get alongside Quinn Manders, who's had a pretty consistent run of things so far.
I'm liking the little caption he's got there. I'd just be driving. Fair play, Quinn, fair play. And indeed, I am liking I'm liking and I'm impressed how you can put it in the front of that Porsche, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I do approve. And yet, despite that, he's driving an Audi, so certainly a little bit of confusion there, a little bit of brand loyalty, maybe gonna miss indeed. But I have a feeling something may be happening at the front. I think Maxwell Budd's been able to catch up to the back of Doug Sorrentino here. Indeed, he has.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yep, fastest lap of the race so far, 124.4. So Butter's gotten up to pace nicely and is pressuring Doug Sorrentino, who's had, you could argue, the most success this season in terms of wins. So we'll see what Bud can do here. He's always been the one chasing Doug Sorrentino. We'll see again how this battle for third and TCR works out too. The two main battles on the circuit for position in class here. Nice apex from Drew Martin. Let's see if he can nail the run out.
Oh, so I gotta say, we're getting a beautiful shot here of the back of that number 13 car of Quinn Manders. Indeed, it sounds spicy, ladies and gentlemen, but looks relaxing at the same time. It really is a little bit of a contradiction. And one thing about that corner there, you'll see different drivers taking different amounts of curb. You can get very, very aggressive with that curb. You can almost put the whole car over it, but should you go a little bit too far to the inside, you'll be greeted with what's called a slowdown, courtesy of the iRacing stewards.
Yeah, it's a curb that you can cut quite a bit, but the margin for error is very small, and you push it the limits just a bit too far, you will get dinged on the head with a black flag. Well, the run down the straight then, and this is once again a spot where you can see where the GT4s really have an advantage over the TCRs. Unfortunately, Jack Minter has been unable to really maximize the cornering speed in that Porsche over the course of the season, and he's often found himself racing amongst the TCRs as a result.
Yeah, fair play to him. You know what, though? He is incredibly potent in a GT3 car. Fair play to him. But indeed, it looks like this battle is starting to spread out a little bit. Indeed, as Jack Minter now getting a little bit closer, he will have the advantage on the straight line. You can see there, he's pretty much going to breeze by the likes of Drew Martin. Now, this could be good here for Drew Martin, because if he can get in the draft here of Jack Minter, that may help him catch up to the back of Quinn Manders, who's currently in 3rd place in class.
Yes, indeed. We have the twisties of the first sector, though, and this is where the TCRs seem to have their cornering speed a bit higher. You can see that Martin is really struggling to actually follow behind Jack Minter there. So a little bit more space now between himself and Quinn Manders. Sean Phillips is quicker than Minter, I believe. We'll have to wait and see if he can make up that gap himself. Both he and Minter were mired back in the TCR pack at the restart. Same for Joshua Travis as well, who is still rolling. We do still have all of our cars that started circulating out there. CJ Conklin, for his credit, has jumped back out onto the circuit.
Now, one thing I am noticing is we've got a little bit of damage here on the right front corner of the number 5. Indeed, that's the car of Andrew Gorov. And how do you say it? Is it Andrew Gorov or Gorov? Certainly, he wasn't phased which way we said it, but we should probably at least try to be consistent. I've got to admit that, and I will take my cue from you. But certainly, the Honda is currently not having its best day, like generally. He's currently 5th in class, down 1 position overall, but certainly, it's still a long way to go yet. We're about halfway through this race so far.
Grove. Maybe we should try that a couple of times, but we'll see. We'll see what Andrew can do here as he continues circulating in 5th place in TCR. CJ Conklin spending 11.5 minutes stopped in the box there as he was managing the caution period, but is back out there and should be able to get a classified finish out of this. Only 15 minutes remaining in the race. This first portion of a Podium 1 show always goes a bit quicker than I expect. It's really an out-and-out sprint, at least if you're a GT4 competitor. Still, no word on whether the TCRs will have to take a stop here. As I pointed out, they have had to stop in previous rounds, but that safety car period may allow them to get to the end without having to come into the pits. The battle for the lead in GT4 has fallen back in favor of Doug Sorrentino. He now has the fastest lap of the race, and Maxwell Budd doing pretty consistent mid-24s, but Sorrentino's just that little bit faster.
Yeah, we're going to have to see just how hard that Maxwell Budd can push. Indeed, on paper, he is at a disadvantage by about 1,600 iRacing. You know, see a little bit of a wiggle there from the... it's not Hello Kitty, but it's certainly some kind of meowing kitty kind of motif there on the number 69 Mercedes there. But I have a feeling... Oh, dear. Something's happened further back in the back, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, dear, we're going to need a replay for this.
So Joshua Travis, evidently, with issues in the final sector. We'll see what happens to him here. The field exiting ahead of him, wide in the hairpin, and, well, he manages to get an all-right exit there. It's a bit of wheel spin, regardless, from the BMW. I think he's just trying to hold on to the car at this point. Has already had one big incident in this race. It was on the very first lap.
Yeah, I think that the overlay software is getting a little bit confused there when it comes to the final corner, indeed. But let's go and check in here. So we've got a battle in the GT4 class starting to emerge, and it's in the form of Jack Minter and Sean Phillips, and Drew Martin is going to have a front row seat at this. Now, on paper, Phillips is the slight advantage by about 200 iRacing, ladies and gentlemen. But these two drivers pretty similarly matched. For Sean Phillips now currently down 4 positions from the start. I'd expect him to be able to make a move, but is he going to be able to pull it off as Andrew Gorov has picked up a meatball flag somewhere? Tommy Polty showing us an incident as well. Yeah,
Garov picked up that meatball flag from contact with Joshua Travis in turn 1. We cut away from Travis on the replay before we saw it, but he actually flung up the inside of turn 1 on Andrew Garov and ended up making contact with him. I think Travis may have slightly overestimated the braking capability of his BMW.
Well, let's try and get another look at that, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, as we go and take a look at the replay here for Andrew.
So this is going to start all the way at the end of the lap here, but you'll have to keep your eyes out for turn 1. It was wide out of the hairpin there for Andrew. It's very difficult in a front-wheel drive car. Okay, this might actually be him just coming into the pits for that damage there. Regardless, yeah, Travis went into him, and he was sent into the tire barriers, and that's why he had to pit for damage.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate indeed. Certainly the replay triggers on this one, not the best. He's getting a little bit of a false positive there. But right now, though, Drew Martin chasing the back of this GT4 back, despite the fact he's in a TCR. He's up 2 positions so far, but indeed the hard charger right now is indeed going to be this gentleman. It's Michael Pacheco.
Yeah, both Pacheco and Quinn Manders are up 3 positions apiece. So good day for the Audis. But there's still no touching the Honda Civic of Javi Sierra at the front of this field. He currently leads the TCR pack by 5 seconds. It's been a solid drive from Sierra here. He has missed a couple of rounds, so he is down a bit in the championship standings. But with this kind of form, I would be very surprised if he wasn't on top by the end of the season.
Yeah, certainly. He's definitely getting in a series of clean results. Let's go and have a look back here, as indeed that's Sean Phillips making his way by Quinn Manders, ladies and gentlemen. That is a pass for P9 overall, but he remains in the same position in class. He's P7 in the GT4 field.
Yeah, Sean Phillips is going to have to make up 30 seconds if he wants to get a position in class, and that's still a possibility. Long Beach is brutal enough that no one is really safe from a potential race-ending incident here. So we'll see what Phillips can do in the white Mustang. Speaking of Mustangs, Amrit Vestrala is really ragging it out of the final hairpin, the most important traction zone on the racetrack, and it would appear the Mustang has slightly too much power for Vestrala's preference.
I gotta admit, I do find myself a little bit vulnerable to a 5-litre V8. It's just such an incredible sound, and if anything, I think Vestrala's honestly just showboating and having fun at this point. Like, Piers Fox is about 3 seconds ahead. To catch him is going to be it's going to have to be ambitious. On lap time alone, for a best lap, they're pretty similarly matched, but on the last lap, indeed, about 1.5 seconds clear was Piers Fox. So certainly Vestrala's going to need a really good couple of clean laps. Not only that, he's going to need Piers Fox to maybe fall off the horse very slightly, but certainly having a little bit of fun, nursing a little bit of damage to that right front corner. But I've got to say, he is sliding that car around absolutely beautifully. It does make me miss the FR500S. I would love to broadcast a series of that. By all means, if you know a league running that, send them our way.
Yes, indeed. FR500S is actually the first car I drove seriously in iRacing, and I was absolutely terrible, but still somehow managed to win a hosted championship with all of the other competitors falling by the wayside. So a lot of good memories for me in that car. Oh no, Quinn Manders has picked up a mechanical black flag I've just seen. Something's gone very wrong for the Audi here. And, oh, you can see it there. The front right is not looking very good. Potentially, that was an overrun into turn 1 that took him, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, looking at the steering inputs, I have a feeling he may be fighting that a little bit. And indeed, what's interesting about the Audi wheel as well, it's got a screen in the middle. It just seems almost like... well, it's a little bit different. Usually you see a wheel with a screen, you don't have the full wheel going around. It's definitely a little bit unusual there, at least in this commentator's eye, at least. But Quinn Manders now, that's going to hit pretty hard. Certainly, we have seen here before that you can finish the race with a meatball flag, but I don't think he's near enough to the end that he's going to be able to get away with it.
No, you have about 3 laps or so to pull it into the pits and serve that mechanical black flag, get your repairs done, and that's exactly what Manders is doing. That's unfortunate for Quinn. He was making up some good places in that race, and would have been on for a top 3 finish if things were a little bit different, but unfortunately turn 1 is the site of many an incident here today.
Yes, it certainly is. We're going to have a quick look here at some of our drivers that are featured on the driver cams. Ladies and gentlemen, by all means, check out this guy. It's Tommy Polte. He's been driving that absolutely beautiful Porsche Cayman GT4, and you can see there, he is really, really working the wheel of that. He is a very skilled... Oh, we got a black flag for Joshua Travis as well. We've got to check in on that in a minute. It's telling me that Vestrala's crashed as well, but I can't trust that because it may be just the fact they've gone around the final corner. But right now, you see there, Tommy Polte believed to be on the straight, and it got some beautiful RGB going in the background for what I believe is a NASCAR-style wheel.
I think that is an open wheeler style wheel. I don't see any rim going over the top there. Tommy is certainly pushing hard here. He's come up on some TCR traffic. Looks like that might be Andrew Garov that he's come up on. Garov having to come into the pits for damage repair as well. Actually, no. I believe that's a scheduled pit stop there. Once again, we're seeing the TCRs stop for about 5 seconds each. Manders and Garov have done that, but maybe that's just for getting their fast repair done. I'm not entirely sure, but now it's a question of where do you get by as a GT4. Cornering speeds are quite similar at the limit in GT4 and TCR. But the straights are where these rear-wheel drive machines have the better of the front-wheel drives.
Yeah, certainly you can see here, this is going to be the move here from Tommy Paul to absolutely blast that Porsche by on the straightaway. And it's fair to say he's made it through the lap traffic. Yep,
good to see. So let's see what Tommy can do here. He's definitely running some good pace. He's about 0.6 quicker than Dustin Warren, at least on the previous lap. So a lot of potential here for that Porsche in the foreground to come under attack. For only 6 minutes to go in the race, though, and my timing telling me about 5 laps to go. So there is still time, but is it enough?
Yeah, certainly. It's a little bit of a spread out field here. As I can say, I'm seeing more and more drivers are starting to join the driver camouflage. We got the GT3 field starting to join. We got the likes of Kerry Corcoran, actually the first driver in there for that race. He made it in. Alex R, and indeed Michael Clark. Michael, if you're watching, your camera is not working, sir. By all means, we have tagged you in Discord, and you might want to get that fixed before the race. But indeed, let's take a quick peek here at Doug Sorrentino, who's currently been able to sit on the pole position for this race, as indeed has the top 4. Max Wilbur able to put in a charge at some point during the race, but not quite enough to challenge for the lead.
Yeah, Doug Sorrentino hasn't had to worry about side-by-side for the lead. He's been able to pick whatever line he wants for the entirety of this race and has been consistently the fastest car out there. 124.5 once again, which plays a 124.8 from Maxwell Budd. Oh dear, Andrew Garov, it appears, has picked up another mechanical black flag and he's towed back to pit lane. So that's further drama in the TCR class as our GT4 leaders fly in formation in the Mercs.
Well, let's see if we can find out exactly what happened here. Certainly, it's been hard to track some of the instances indeed. Oh, yep, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
Not ideal. That has completely ripped the front left off the car. The TCRs are notoriously fragile when it comes to wall contact there. It's very easy to... Okay. It's also quite easy to kick the rear end out in the Mercedes, and Doug Sorrentino is showing that. You know, I think, yes, some of it can be showboating, but I think it's more a case of that's just how you got to drive the circuit in these cars. A lot of right-angle corners where you need to get rotation as best you can and get as much of it done on the way into the corner as you can, but sometimes it's best to just get on the power aggressively and slide your way out.
Yeah, certainly you can see a couple of drivers really having fun with that. And indeed, I'm actually a little bit jealous there as we have a slowdown penalty currently being issued to Drew Martin. And I'm actually quite curious how he did that. He must have done that in the second to last corner, I'd say. Got a little bit too keen with the curbs. And the Marshall's definitely not a big fan. And indeed, he's going to have to bleed that time off. He's got it done. That's done by turn 1. Scott Laurenti lurking about 17.5 seconds back. So he's clear for now. Currently in P3 in class. And indeed, he's currently the hard charger.
Yep, it's a good job from Drew Martin thus far. He hasn't set the timing screens alight, but he's certainly been consistent and has avoided drama, unlike many of our TCR field today. 3 minutes remain, and it would appear that there's 2 laps remaining when they cross the line next for our GT4 leaders, and there's basically no battles at the moment. Everyone is more than a second apart right now, but there's still plenty of time for mistakes to be made, for consistent runs to be stopped, and a little bit more battling to come. Let's see if the lap traffic induces any harm here for Doug Sorrentino. He's just come up on Drew Martin here in the final sector.
Yeah, now this is something that could indeed throw a curveball. And that corner there, I suspect, is where Drew Martin picked up that slowdown before. And you see right behind him, that mighty Mercedes of Doug Sorrentino, the number 69 car. It's going to be a pretty trouble-free pass here. And you go right up behind him, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed makes the pass, moves his Mercedes forward. But how's that going to work out for Maxwell Butt, though? He's about 2.5 seconds back, and indeed he's going to catch Drew Martin a far from less opportune moment there. Sorrentino getting the advantage through lap traffic.
Yes, and Maxwell Budd is going to be coming up on this TCR in a very twisty part of the circuit, the part of the track with the almost lowest average speed. Meanwhile, looks like there's lap traffic in class there for Doug Sorrentino. He's just made his way past Jack Minter there, and Minter, in jumping out of the way of Sorrentino, almost comes under pressure from the TCR of Drew Martin.
Yeah, I gotta say, it looks like Jack Minter's actually picked up some damage at the front of that car. The front nose cone of that completely bashed in. You can see there, Maxwell Budd absolutely vying for an opportunity to get by. But indeed, he's got a battle happening ahead of him. Drew Martin ducks out the way. Maxwell Budd's there using a slipstream, but is it going to be enough? Jack Minter in a straight line. He's not at a disadvantage, but it's going to be through the corners. Can Maxwell Budd find his way through? He's already lost about 0.7 per second as he makes his way to the inside there of Minter, and Minter yet still holding firm. They're going side by side, ladies and gentlemen, round the penultimate corner, and indeed round the final corner here. Minter goes wide, and a look at that, Drew Martin goes to put a nose up on the inside.
Oh, wow, this is looking pretty good in terms of if you're a photographer by the side of the circuit, you want some shots of cars, that's probably a good opportunity there. 30 seconds on the clock, and this should be the start of the final lap for these guys. Doug Sorrentino at the moment is just making his way to the fountain section, so it is indeed white flag here. A 1:25.0 for Sorrentino. That's 1.4 seconds faster than Maxwell Budd could manage in traffic, so looks like Sorrentino will be under very little pressure here on the final lap.
Yeah, sometimes though that can actually unsettle you as a driver. Certainly if I know all I've got to do is just gently bring it home, it'll throw me off completely. I'm almost better to push at the limit, or indeed to see a little bit of a slide there on corner exit. But Sorrentino, he's literally got this in the back. He literally just needs to bring this home. Flirting with the concrete wall there, definitely rubbing a little paint there, and I swear he must be listening to the broadcast while he races, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you what, Doug, if you are, give us another flash again as you go around the final corner, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to see exactly if he's indeed tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly we'll be speaking to him very, very shortly. As of now, he brings it to a close, ladies and gentlemen. 20 laps here at Long Beach, and just one corner to go. He makes his way down the start-finish straight of Shoreline Avenue.
Yep, and right on cue, he's flashing the lights on the way out of the final corner. Doug Sorrentino will take the win at Long Beach and potentially get himself back into the championship lead. With that, a fantastic drive under no pressure at all for the whole race. Apart from a little bit there from Maxwell Budd early on, still a consistent second place finish for Maxwell as P.S. Fox completes the podium. Amrit Vestrala carrying some dents and dings on his Mustang for the majority of that one. It'll be a consistent P4 finish for him as the field comes across the line. Our TCR winner still has to receive his dues here. Javi Sierra still negotiating this final lap.
Yeah, certainly that corner he's just gone around. I have many a time stacked a car around there, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Doug Sorrentino is indeed going to be ready to join us in the interview booth. But certainly, watching this race, I'd say the best showboater award I'd actually give to Amrit Vestrala. There isn't an actual award, but certainly he did provide a good bit of entertainment there, making that Mustang go sideways. But indeed, credit where it's due, the 979, he's up 2 positions from the start, and indeed has done very well to finish P7 overall, but P1 yet again in the TCR class. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Javi Sierra. Well, absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Michael Pacheco is still just to make a move across the line. He was just ahead of Doug Sorrentino when Sorrentino took the checkered flag, so he had to do pretty much a whole extra lap, ladies and gentlemen, as he did makes it across the line as well. And I do believe that is our final car to make it across. It is indeed, so we can get ready for some results.
Indeed, we can. Well, 4.3 seconds was the gap in the end for Doug Sorrentino. He wins from Maxwell Budd and Pierce Fox at the top of the GT4 field. The top four remain in exactly the same positions they started. Emmerich Vestrala, P4 there, ahead of Dustin Warren, who made up one spot over Tommy Polte there. Sean Phillips, Jack Minter, and Joshua Travis rounding out the field there, with Minter and Travis a lap down. In TCR, Javi Sierra dominated proceedings and took the win from Michael Pacheco, with Drew Martin rounding out the podium there, making up 3 spots. Very nicely done. Also 3 spots up for Scott Laurenti, with Quinn Manders and Drew Garov there getting mechanical black flags over the course of the race. CJ Conklin in race control had to jump out of the car to press some buttons and twiddle some knobs, so to speak. It's time then for a chat with our winners, and Doug Sorrentino is with us at the moment. It looked like a pretty calm race for the most part for you, Doug, but I'm sure it was less than that behind the wheel. Long Beach is quite a frenetic circuit.
Yeah, definitely busy hands, you know. I'm trying to get the fastest lap each time I go out there, so, you know, I know I can do it, but the walls don't want me to, so I just gotta make sure that I keep it through, and I did get a 2x there. I did bonk the wall a bit, but it was just enough to stay in front.
Yep, only just enough. Well, you came into this round with Vestrala ending up taking the championship lead, but it would appear that you're reasserting yourself at the top of these standings with that kind of performance. Are you expecting that there's going to be any more challenge in the circuits to come now that we're moving back to some more conventional racetracks?
You know, yeah, Long Beach I have really good energy with. You know, I really love doing that in like IMSA standards, so, you know, I just really have a good mesh with it. As far as like the other races coming up, I mean, I'd say the biggest problems that I might have is probably Adelaide or maybe even Miami. Everything else I'm pretty kosher with, so I don't really foresee any other issues. As long as the other drivers give me some challenges, I'm sure we'll see some fights.
All right, well, we'll see what that brings in the rounds to come, Doug. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Doug Sorrentino there from the win in the GT4 class, and we are joined now by Maxwell Budd, standing by with Zippy.
Well, Max, I gotta say, you've definitely been able to give Sorrentino a good run for his money. For a second there, I thought you may indeed be able to challenge for the lead, but certainly Long Beach, a challenging circuit indeed. It's AMG versus AMG. What do you think you need to do to just try and close that gap just that a little bit more?
Well, this track is a tough track, especially for low downforce cars. And for me, I was trying to keep up with Doug there and ended up overheating my tires and just couldn't. I started losing pace. I think my main goal next race is trying to just my tires under temp and just keep up with Doug and Fox. I know Fox is fast as well, so I think that's my goal next race.
But certainly a good solid goal indeed, and certainly Long Beach as well. Definitely not one of the most forgiving tracks we got here in the schedule. But yourself, how did you feel about this particular venue? Did you take in the beautiful sights? Did you get a good steak or indeed Sunday? Or did you honestly just find it was all a little bit more stressful than you'd like it to be?
I was a little more stressful than I'd like, especially with traffic. Definitely made it a little interesting, that's for sure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, without a hazard of a doubt, Maxwell Budd able to bring it home in P2 today in yet again another Mercedes. Obviously, Mercedes having a very good standing here in the championship so far. But Maxwell, before we let you disappear, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for today's performance?
Just my girlfriend, she's watching. But other than that, nothing much. Gonna practice some GT3s now.
Oh, attaboy. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of the 008 and able to get second place in today's race, Maxwell Budd.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic job from Maxwell Budd today. Also from Michael Pacheco, who finished in second place in the TCR class today. It looked like another case of Javi Sierra just having more consistent pace today, but the attributes of Long Beach really working in your favor today, Michael. It looked like you were having fun out there.
I just try and keep as much pace as I can. Javi is so fast. Congrats to him getting P1. I'm trying to just follow through with him, but it's difficult. He's really quick.
Yeah, the apex walls around here always beckon. It's a tough circuit, especially in a front-wheel drive car. Can you give us some perspective on the techniques you need to employ to go fast around here?
At least for the TCRs, I know you pretty much have to finish your braking before you even start turning, because trail braking is not really friendly here because of the bumps. Other than that, that's really all I can give, because I couldn't extract any more pace.
Yeah, it can be very tough to do that. I guess the brake bias is the main thing to get that extra pace. Winding it back as far as you can to get that rotation of the corners. How much have you been playing around with that?
Yeah, I definitely fiddled with it quite a bit. At some point, I was at 75% because the TCRs do like them up front, but I ended up being almost at 65, and even then, you run the risk of locking up the rears pretty easily. But 67 is where I was for most of the race, and it gave me the rotation that I needed to at least stay in front of Manders.
Well, we will see you very shortly in the McLaren in the GT3 race, so we wish you best of luck for that, Michael. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, just shout out the team that I'm representing. It's Gulf Coast Sims, and we're having a good time. Andrew's in here. Max is also part of the team, and Jay Williams. So shout out to those guys, and hopefully we have good luck in GT3 racing.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much for joining us, Michael.
Yep, thank you.
And that's going to round out our GT4 and TCR race for today, Zippy. GT3's coming up. We are at the very same track, but we're going to bring the pace up quite a bit. There's a few more cars contending as well. Quite a few more, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed, if you thought the action was good for this, just wait. Buckle up your seats, put the tray in the upright position. Indeed, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, and get ready for some absolutely phenomenal action here. But stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen,
Well, we are here on Pit Road Productions, back again for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. We've gotten GT4 and TCR under our belt here at Long Beach, and now it is time to head to the big dogs. The GT3s are ready to show you what they can do around this incredible circuit. If you're just joining us, I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box, and also producing behind the scenes, Zippy. GT3 beckons, and man, the lap times are so much faster.
Oh, indeed, they are definitely a lot more power, a lot more aero available out of these GT3 cars. And indeed, we have the GTD Pro and the GTD class. So indeed, we're going to have same cars, but indeed 2 different classes running. And we do have another new driver today, Hans Brady, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be driving the number 4, that mighty Ford Mustang as well. But before we get into this too much, let's have a look here at the championship standings, starting off with the GTD Pro.
Alex Zart on top. He's been incredibly consistent in that Lamborghini. Maxwell Budd second on 279, with Joshua Wilford, last series champion, rounding out your top 3. There's only 3 points separating Manuel Sandoval and Chris Krohn. There's going to be a lot of competition between them, especially considering they're currently sitting 1 and 2 in qualifying. Javi Sierra and Michael Pacheco, they're battling in TCR and in this GT3 championship as well. They are 6th and 7th ahead of Amrit Estrella, Matt Jones, and Pierce Fox.
Taking a look here at the GTD standings, ladies and gentlemen, at the top of the food chain is going to be Wilton Palermo with 161 points, just 5 points clear of Jack Minter. Dustin Warren just 4 points behind him as well. And then it gets even closer now. Quinn Manders in 4th, Kenneth Narvaez, he's there just 1 point ahead of Michael Clark. Now, Michael Clark from last season, known as one of the best hard chargers through the field. Can he do it again, ladies and gentlemen? Certainly, we would love to see if he can do that again. Take a look further down there. You got Andrew Gorov, Ben Malik, Joshua Travis, and indeed Sean Phillips rounding out your top 10 in the GTD class.
Absolutely. It looks like mega close standings coming into this round. With 5 minutes still left in qualifying, it remains to be seen who exactly will start on pole. Manuel Sandoval currently sits on that provisional pole with Alex Zart rounding out your top 2. Before we get all of that done, though, it's time once again to thank our sponsors for this championship. Our returning sponsor, Carb Bliss, offering a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. The ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise, bold flavor with 0 compromises. Every 12-ounce can has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, is gluten-free, and just has 100 calories. So if you're looking to have a good time, consider Carb Bliss.
But certainly, if you need some power to keep the party going, check out Nixon Power, a new series sponsor headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee. They focus exclusively on power generation, and they provide industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts support. Ladies and gentlemen, you do need power for most of the hobbies that we do enjoy here at Pit Road Productions. Moving on. Reese.
Yep. Speaking of high power sim racing equipment, Moza Racing is a fast-growing brand making high-performance sim racing hardware for PC and console, VR and flight simulation. Known for affordable, powerful direct-drive wheelbases, modular wheels and pedals, Moza offers a full automotive engineered ecosystem, from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear. Some fantastic stuff from Moza. My next sim racing hardware purchase will certainly be from them.
Yeah, certainly I do definitely want to get myself that truck and steering wheel, and indeed, it seems crazy. We've been at the end of the world where doing real work is a game, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ask me how that worked. But certainly, Speed Designs are located in Phoenix, Arizona, specializing in custom helmet painting, providing unique, modern, and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula One, IMSA, pro karting, NASCAR, and dirt track racing. Certainly, I would love to get a who's list of who has one of these designs here. But certainly, let's take it and move on to our next sponsor, and indeed our series sponsor. It's Podium 1, a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulation systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Acertec, and Cubic Motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. Ladies and gentlemen, let me put it like this. Anybody can walk and, if you walk into the grocery store, you get all sorts of different ingredients. And you can say that Moza Racing provide ingredients, for example. They provide sim racing gear, hardware, and stuff like that. But Podium 1, they're the chef, ladies and gentlemen. They're the people that make it come all together so that you get that complete package, that delicious, absolutely divine meal, that combination, that feeling of butterflies in your stomach. That is Podium 1, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get something that is more than just a piece of gear strapped together, you want a catered for, you know, complete system, you need these guys. Check them out on the social media side, and indeed check out their website. Absolutely incredible stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to leave that on the wayside for right now, as Alex Zart, who's currently leading the qualification charge there, and indeed is one of our drivers with a camera, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check him out here on the cam. You can see there, working hard, looking cool, calm, and collected with a little bit of a wraparound monitor view. Fair place from here, as he's currently posted a 118.19 as his best lap time, just 0.07 of a second clear of Manuel Sandoval. Meanwhile, we got another couple of drivers. I see we got the driver cams going as well. Ladies and gentlemen, give you a complete list. Kerry Corcoran makes a return. Andrew Garov, he's there. Wilton Palermo, Tommy Poulty, and indeed CJ Conklin as well. I do wonder, though, excuse me, downside of being a commentator, ladies and gentlemen, you drink plenty of fluids, and indeed sometimes you get the hiccups as a result. But qualifying, it's just got about another minute left to go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if we can get an onboard lap with one of these drivers. Certainly Maxwell Budd, we got to speak to him a few moments ago, and he's indeed about to start one. Let's take a look at it here from a GT3 point of view, as down goes the power, ladies and gentlemen, and absolutely applies a fortune here of the squeeze of the gas pedal. Reese, are you there?
I am here. A fantastic circuit here at Long Beach, and we get a lovely tour around it here. Lots of speed at the back end.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see here, as we do indeed return, we've got a... It's been fun, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly been fun, but right now we got here with Maxwell Budd rocking the Porsche on this occasion. He's switched away from the Silver Arrow of the AMG, ladies and gentlemen, and right now you can see there a rather neutral looking livery, the blue and the black being represented on that double AA gate car. Another driver to keep an eye out, though, for is going to be this guy. He's rocking for Real Street, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's currently there in P4 in the GTD class, as we're going to see exactly what goes on. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, that is a McLaren. I believe that's Quinn Manders there, having a little bit of a scenic detour. Yes, it is indeed a beautiful McLaren, but definitely not the line he was looking for. But let's see exactly how Hans Brady's getting on. Well, I can tell you which team he's running with, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it looks like we've got another person joining that Real Street team as well. Not quite sure what that was. Certainly a little bit interesting there. We'll have to keep an eye out for that a little bit later on. But certainly Mike Rose as well. We had the pleasure of having him on driver cam last week. Indeed, I'm going to see a return. But right now, though, I can see Michael Clark looks like he's rejoining. Tommy Poulty and indeed Michael Belair making an appearance as well. Belair already finished his laps. Mike Rose actually absent from the driver cams this week. Dustin Warren, though, we saw him just a few... oh my gosh. A few moments ago as well. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. Apologies there, as we got Miguel Colon there in the chat. Miguel, I do have to wonder where you are out this season. Certainly would be a pleasure if you could come back. Certainly, saw you giving a good run for money last season by, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, that is the end of qualifying. We are going to get ready for the grid here any moment now. But I've got to say, GTD and GTD Pro, some interesting mixes. Michael Clark, if I'm not mistaken, managing to move his way up into P4 overall. Mike Rose, I'm glad you heard the message. You've got time. Get it done, bud. We'd love to see the beard back on camera, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed. Well, I mean, this is the whole reason we do driver cams, right? Just so the commentary staff can indeed give you a hard time and indeed show you forms of affection by picking apart your setup and indeed compliment the beautiful Podium 1 rigs that obviously you guys all need to have. But certainly, let's take a look here at the grid here for what is going to be the main feature race with Alex Starr taking the pole position. Manuel Sandoval is going to be alongside in second. Chris Crone takes third alongside Michael Clark, the highest position there for the GTD drivers. Back in 5th, Michael Belair, who's also on the driver cams. He's going to be there alongside Maxwell Budd in 6th. Ben Malik takes 7th with Pierce Fox in 8th. Jack Minter, much better here in the GT3. He's there in 9th with Kevin Rosario, rounding out your top 10. GTD leader is going to be there. He is currently there in P11. It's Wilton Palermo with Jay Williams alongside in 12th. Moving back a little bit further back, and got Michael Pacheco, who we spoke to just a few moments ago. He's there in 13th with Mike Rose alongside in 14th. Kerry Corcoran, one of the more seasoned gentlemen in the grid. He's going to be there in 15th with Chris Rossetti alongside in 16th. With Sean O'Brien in 17th and Javi Sierra back in 18th. Keep an eye out for him, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly in the TCR car. He's potent. Kenneth Narvaez, he's going to be there in 19th. And then rounding out your top 20, we have Dustin Warren. In 21st, we got Greg Boyce with Joshua Wilford surprisingly far back there in 22nd with Eric Pastrana also out of place there. He's there in 23rd with Joshua Chavez in 24th. The grid just keeps on going, ladies and gentlemen. In 25th, we got Quinn Manders with Tommy Polsey alongside in 26th. Andrew Grob in 27th with Hans Brady, new driver here to the Podium 1 Pick Series Championship. He's there in 28th. CJ Conklin, your league administrator, is there in 29th with Sean Phillips, rounding out your 30-car grid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely fantastic stuff indeed, as we're going to be getting this race underway very, very shortly. Not quite sure what you're on about there, Miguel. Manipulate. I don't understand that. By all means, correct me. Is this like an insider joke or something? By all means, I'm not sure, but definitely going to be an interesting start to the race here. Indeed, as I see even more driver cams coming online. Michael Clark's was here. And indeed, we got Michael Clark back, ladies and gentlemen. He must be feeling pretty happy with yourself. But certainly at this point, this would be a great time to talk to some of the drivers. But guys, you got to be in our Discord if you want to do that. We need you in the live race comms because we would love to pull you in for a chat. Certainly on the Outlap would be a golden opportunity for that. Oh, okay, Miguel. His nickname is Manuplet. Is it Manuplet or Manuplay? By all means, correct me if I'm wrong, but certainly, an interesting battle indeed. It's a pace car, a short pace lap here at Long Beach, but I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very busy race start, ladies and gentlemen. One small accident here could result in chaos for the entire grid, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be an absolute diabolical start. We'll have to see. Cold tyres. We've got no tyre warmers here. They've not had much to really get too much heat here into the tyres as well. But I've got to say, an absolutely beautiful view there. So making their way around the parking lot, ladies and gentlemen. Not too often you get to say that. It's almost like an autocross has been built into this racetrack. But certainly, I do have to wonder, can Alex Zark keep up this race running streak he's had so far? The number 70 Lamborghini, quite a challenging car to drive indeed. He's got the likes of Chris Crone behind as well in that AMG, and indeed it's already getting quite packed now. You got to wonder as well, just how soon is Alex Zark gonna go?
That is the question. We will see then as we find our way to the green flag here. For the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships, the GT3 races go, and it's a consistent start from our front row here with Alex Zart and Manuel Sandoval alongside each other at the front of the field. 2x2 all the way through.
Oh,
there's a move up the inside there from Chris Crone. My goodness, that's incredible. It's brought Alex Zart into the lead, but the yellow flag is out immediately, Zippy.
Oh my word, I gotta say, as race starts go, that was absolutely beautiful. Alex Zart somehow, some miracle, able to get his way back ahead, but Chris Crone, I gotta say, that was an absolutely baller move. Further back though, Chris Bracetti, by some miracle, has made it up 7 positions, and we have another real street car. In this case, it's a form of a Chevrolet Corvette, but I gotta wonder what exactly happened at that start. We'll take a look here and see if we can find out.
Yeah, that was quite interesting indeed. Looked like a slow start at the back of the field there. A couple of cars not really getting up to speed. So that's the reason why Bracetti's made up a couple of spots. Unsure exactly what's going to go down here at turn 1. It was Bracetti going up the inside there. Oh, and Corcoran behind as well, making moves. Actually, it looks like everyone had a clean run. I think the automated race control system picked up a bunch of incidents altogether, and there were problems from there.
I almost wonder if if it's been full course caution just because of that race start. Certainly they were quite spread out. Let's take a look at it once more, and we'll try and get another view from it. Reese, by all means, pick a driver we should watch it from.
I honestly couldn't tell you which driver to watch it from. I mean, the back of the field probably is a good place to go, but it was a very delayed start for the drivers at the very back here. There's 29 drivers taking to the start here today. Just incredible stuff. But this is the view from the midfield here. Lots of big dives being made at turn one, and oh my goodness, yeah, it was almost a parking lot there. Fortunately, no one's spinning around.
I think that's what would have triggered it, honestly, Reese. The race control software would have picked up that is like 4 or 5 cars all going slow at one time, and yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah, I suppose fair enough in the end, but it has brought the race to a slight standstill here at the very start. This could be an opportunity for drivers to save a bit of fuel and maybe shorten their pit stop or extend their stint a couple of laps towards the end of the race. Remember, all cars are going to have to come into the pits at least once here for some fuel. Kerry Corcoran showing off his guns there. Certainly some good forearm action going on, as it appears he's in a motion rig as well.
Your choice of word and give me a bit of a giggle, but yeah, I'd admit the guy's pretty ripped. I'll give him that, certainly. Actually, that's not one of the things. Sometimes you get the sim drivers come on. Actually, I'm thinking of probably, is it Diego Zuccarelli I'm thinking of? Literally comes on, the guy's built like a brick outhouse, and you're just impressed but kind of concerned at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, one of the things we have fun here is with the driver cams. But certainly, myself and Reese, we are not quite the athletic form that you would hope for, ladies and gentlemen. We are indeed a shape, but it's not the one that you'd be putting the pin onto the wall, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, we got a good couple of drivers here, and it looks like Mike Rose, the bearded man himself, has decided to join us on the cameras here in the number 86.
Yes, sitting P17 at the moment, and has lost 4 positions on that initial start. He was one of the drivers who was in that 4 wide, I believe. And, you know, coming into turn 1 at Long Beach, survival is key, as everyone is so slow coming into the hairpin here. It's practically a crawl as everyone has to make their way through the hairpin single file here. I'm sure Mike is going to be looking forward to getting back up to speed. Surely we're going to be getting a restart here at the end of this lap.
Yeah, taking a look at the pace car, the lights are indeed still on right now, but certainly Reese, do you want to see if we can grab somebody from the Discord, maybe see if we can talk to them during the safety car lap? Certainly, I would love to get a point of view here from one of these drivers, certainly while we've got the time as well. In the meantime, though, let's check out a couple more of these driver cams. Certainly, I gotta say, for attendance on the driver cams, this GT3 race is honestly on another level, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a quick count here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 driver cams. Absolutely phenomenal stuff here indeed. As I can see, we have a new driver cam here today. Let's try and get him a little bit of airtime, ladies and gentlemen. He's currently down 1 position overall, but I do recognize the name. Indeed, I recognize the paintwork. Incredibly potent force indeed. 1900 I rating, but drives like a 3K, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce you to the one and only Mr. Michael Belair.
Yes, we get a good view of at least the top 90% of his head there. We'll be seeing what he can do to make his way up a bit further. 6th place at the moment, and he's worked out nicely so far in this one. Held on to a top 5 in qualifying, but losing a couple of positions on that initial start. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do to recover from that. Long Beach, a notoriously difficult circuit to pass on, so you need to be consistent and assertive with your maneuvers. I do think Alex Zart is going to be one to watch on the restart here, but Chris Krohn restarting in 2nd place. This is how he got it, with a phenomenal move up the inside of the turn 1.
Yeah, I just thought it was honestly so good. It was a replay where we, don't get me wrong, opportunistic on a good day, but you can see there, absolutely does it on the braking, a little bit do or die. How on earth they got 3 cars around that corner, I don't know, but what an absolutely incredible start. It was a baller move, but fair play, wasn't quite able to make it pay off.
Yeah, Manuel Sandoval on the outside had to really back out of it in the Porsche. He is going to have to really dial the aggression up here as the pace car is going to be pulling in at the end of this pace lap. See if Alex Zart can move things along nicely. He's on the power almost instantly out of the final corner, and it appears Chris Krohn was cottoned onto that, but no one else was. Manuel Sandoval falling behind as they get restarted here. Michael Clark up into P4 overall. This is one of his best performances of the entire time we've seen him here on Pit Road Productions. Krohn moving past Zart. It's side by side for the lead through the chicane. Oh my goodness. Why? How would you put a move on there? Chris Krohn is putting his cars in places I did not expect.
Well, I gotta say, I'm starting to wonder, it's not necessarily the driver, it's the paintwork. If you see that zebra paint job on an AMG, you've got to watch out. Chris Krohn, Kevin Rosario, both of them on the more aggressive side of the spectrum here, but definitely really aggressive driving. It's making for some great entertainment, but indeed, Alex Zart really having to work hard today here at Long Beach. Further back, though, as I say that, Rosario now going side by side with Kenan Tavares.
Yeah, this is looking interesting between them. Maxwell Budd, though, gives up fourth place. Sandoval giving up fourth place to Maxwell Budd there as Rosario tried his best to stay ahead of Narvaez. This is going to be an interesting fight between these Mercs. It's Ben Mielek, one of the many real sim racing zebra pattern Mercedes here. Oh no, that's what happens when you try to go too wide through the hairpin. The track is blocked. I think we're going to see a safety car again.
Clean up on the corner number. Well, I don't know what number it is, but clean up on aisle 5 was my first thought. But oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, chaos, panic, and disorder. And I gotta say, from a race control point of view, this might not be the most fun occasion from a broadcasting point of view. I'm absolutely loving it. This is great entertainment.
Yeah, I think we might be seeing a series of short sprints going on here today. Should be another 2 laps spent pacing behind the iRacing pace car. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Ben Mielek really couldn't do much more than that. Not sure who the car was that turned him around there, but it's often not advisable to go too wide through that final hairpin for that exact reason. You could see the field behind them had to come to a stop. Pierce Fox trying to make up places there and ultimately costing himself quite a few positions in the process. Kerry Corcoran was one of the first on the scene there, was able to find his way through, and so Minter, Corcoran, Palermo, and Brassetti have all made up spots as a result of that. Yeah, you can see that Pierce was really keen to get past Ben Mielek here, but I mean, from that far back, I don't think the move was on.
I'm not really sure how to call that one. Certainly, you could review that 5 different ways, 5 different camera angles, but I am seeing it's definitely going to be a spicy race today here at Long Beach. I've got to say, this is one of the reasons why I love the fact we have race control here, because with that, we do indeed get another chance, and it looks like Pierce Fox has actually been given a black flag. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been deemed at fault for that accident. We'll have to check in with CJ for sure, but I have a feeling he's been given that by courtesy of race control.
Yeah, indeed he has. Well, we'll see what he does to carry that forward. Looks like Ben Mielek has been waved around the pace car for some reason. I'm not entirely certain what the deal is here, but we'll see that worked out, I'm sure. For the moment, Kerry Corcoran, the hardest charger in the field, up 9 positions now. And he's taken advantage of those early incidents quite nicely, it seems.
Yeah, definitely the patriotic man himself for Get Lucky Racing. You can definitely spot that paint a good mile away, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I feel that the Stars and Stripes play every time that comes into view. But right now, it's fair to say he's doing quite well. He started well, he's racing well, and indeed, he's currently doing quite well, because in class, he's P5. Overall, he's P9. And indeed, not only that, he does have that hard charger as well. But another person to keep an eye on right now, Sean Phillips. He's currently up 5 positions as well, making his way into P25 overall.
Yes, good run from Sean Phillips. Last time we saw him was in the White Mustang in the GT4 class, and he had a consistent run there too. Let's see if Long Beach continues to smile upon him here. 28 minutes remaining here, and the majority of the laps we completed so far have been under safety car conditions. I gotta wonder, is this potentially going to eliminate the need for a pit stop? I mean, they are going to have to, they usually have to stop for fuel when the race is running full green flag, but you spend enough laps under safety car, you might be able to get away with just a small splash at most.
Yeah, it's definitely going to throw a different dynamic. Certainly, you can plan as much as you want going into this race, but as soon as you get a safety car out, everything changes, and indeed, we may see drivers holding back here. I have a feeling this isn't going to be one of them, though. Certainly, Chris Crone has been nothing but absolutely potent today, and indeed Michael Clark's managed to make his way up to third place as well. Maxwell Budd's in there on the mix. Michael Belair, though, I would keep an eye on him, as I'd say that's probably Pierce Fox. No, it's Manuel Sandoval makes his way down pit road.
Okay, so it looks like this early safety car period has resulted in quite a few drivers looking to either get a splash of fuel, make sure that they're good to the end of the race, or get some damage fixed. I see that Sandoval has some damage to his left rear there, so it looks like he'll be getting that repaired at the very least. We're going to see Pierce Fox jump into the pits as well. He does have a black flag to serve, so I think he might just be doing that, touring through pit lane. Other drivers in there include Boyce and Vestrala. So we're seeing some early stoppers. Whether or not that works out for them long-term strategy-wise remains to be seen.
Well, I do have to wonder as well. He's just served that black flag while they're on a safety car. I don't think that quite had the effect race control was looking for. It's hard to say that because they're currently going at pace car speed. I have a feeling Pierce Fox may have indeed got away with this quite well.
Yeah. Maybe that's something for the rule book. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Pierce Fox remaining in 12th position, 4 places down from where he started. The pace car should be coming into pit lane at the end of this lap, and the lights are indeed off, so we will be getting back to racing very shortly. So then the question becomes, Alex Zart and Chris Crone. They are the runaway top 2 at the moment, and Chris Crone is not afraid to throw it up the inside if he deems it necessary. So I think we're going to be seeing a good race at the front here.
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly going to be it's going to be a battle, and I think we're actually going to watch it from his point of view at the start. I got a feeling he's going to go for that move on the end, but this time, certainly Zart's got to be expecting it. He's done it twice now. Third time, like, you know, is he going to get the opportunity? If I was Zart, I would honestly be defending the living stuffing out of that inside.
I would too. I think for Zart as well, he's going to try and get a jump here on the restart. Maybe compress the field before the green flag flies, and then try and surprise Chris Crone. We'll have to wait and see, though. Pace car is on its way into the pit lane, and Alex Zart is going to once again accelerate out of the final corner. It looks like a bit more consistent spacing between our front cars this time as the rest of the field gets up to speed. And now Chris Crone will try and make up some time on Alex Zart. Joshua Wilford, who was... Oh dear, it looks like Warren and Sandoval have had a problem at the back of the field. The caution is back out again.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I'm not sure why on that one.
Yeah, I think it might be the automated system picking up incidents when cars are just going slowly. Dustin Warren and Manuel Sandoval, actually there was an incident at the back as the field was trying to get going. It looks like a bit of confusion happening. Joshua Wilford diving up the inside of Dustin Warren into the final corner. That's making up positions before you're officially allowed to, so maybe Wilford's going to have a penalty coming his way.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and go back a little bit here. We'll take a look here from Joshua Wilford's point of view.
So this is coming into the final corners, and now the field's getting up to speed. Wilford making up quite a few places there, and that is before the start-finish line, and I don't think that's allowed. That's why the caution came out there. Stopped on the exit there was Dustin Warren, and Manuel Sandoval having much the same issue.
Yeah, definitely not quite sure. Don't get me wrong, if the green flag went, I don't blame Wilford for going in the slightest, but certainly it accordingly now. If we take a look from another point of view, 1, 2, I gotta say fair play to him, 3, and 3 wide around the final corner. That's the first time I've ever seen that. And don't get me wrong, Wilford able to capitalize on that, but yeah, definitely a little bit of a nightmare.
Is it fair play though? Because he made it up before the start-finish line, and at the end of a caution period, normally you're not allowed to make passes until you're after the start-finish line. Most championships, you're not even allowed to be alongside on a single-file restart, so I think Wilford might be in a bit of trouble here.
I'm not really too sure how to call it. One of the things I've been penalised for before is making a pass before the line, but don't get me wrong, if the field checks up, and I get told go green, I'm going. So, you know, realistically, it's more on to me, it's more on the other drivers to actually get going. When the green flag goes, it could go either way. But again, this is why I don't do race control.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique case for the final sector of this track as well, just because that final corner is so incredibly slow. It's very easy to end up coming to almost a complete stop in the last corner on a restart. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe some drivers will be looking forward to leaving Long Beach behind them. It's interesting to note our leader has yet to complete 10 laps of this circuit, and we are almost halfway through the race time. I think this is going to be, in terms of distance covered, the shortest race of the season.
Yeah, one thing I'm finding as well, Zart is he appears to be quite a ways away from that pace car.
Yeah, he's not really making any effort to catch up to it. They're all weaving and whatnot, but maybe they'll be getting the hurry up in just a few moments' time here, because the pace car is coming into well, actually, it's already at the end of the first sector. So, and it looks like they've turned the lights off, and we will be going green at the end of the lap. This is turning out to be quite a confusing caution period.
Yeah, it definitely is. Certainly, the iRacing safety car system does indeed need a little bit of finagling, you can say. And on a road course, it does get colourful indeed. But fair play, I'm sure CJ has got more than enough for his to have his hands full indeed. But now you can see there, Zart currently rocking about 60 mile an hour. A couple of these drivers hitting triple digits, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly, despite the fact it is a safety car, we got a lot of pace going. This is getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad I'm not in race control.
Yeah, poor CJ has his work cut out for him here. A lot of confusion. Some drivers doing things they arguably shouldn't. Dustin Warren in the InSim text chat saying, "I thought you couldn't pass before the start line," and I would be inclined to agree. Obviously, calling attention to Joshua Wilford's moves up the inside into the final corner on that restart. Our reigning champion has been on the back foot the whole race here at this stage. Did not get the qualifying lap that he expected, and now he will be mired back in this field. And if he gets a penalty from that presumed transgression, it'll get even worse for him.
Yeah, certainly I think there's definitely going to be some lessons learned from this race for drivers, for everybody involved, and even broadcasters as well. I think we've gone green.
We have, and Alex Zart is 5 seconds ahead of Chris Krohn. So, oh dear, this is turning into quite the schmozzle, so to speak. Zart is going to be your runaway leader. Krohn, Clark, Bud, and Belair will battle over second place as they make their way into turn one. And now we'll just see if anyone can survive. This is going to be quite the difficult run here for these last 19 minutes of the race, and still no word on whether these guys are going to have to make a pit stop in the end, with so much time spent lapping under caution.
Yeah, I'd say the odds of a pit stop now have probably disappeared at this point, but right now, I've got to say, getting an absolutely fantastic shot here. It's Jay Williams against Pierce Fox. By on paper, it should be Pierce Fox all the way as he did. It puts that BMW up on the inside, but I've got to say, both of these cars with a beautiful livery there. As I thought I saw Pierce Fox pulling back in, tapping not, but indeed, more battles happening further back. Kevin Narvaez trying to make a move here on Michael Pacheco.
Yep, Pacheco, second place finisher in TCR earlier tonight, and now will be under pressure from the Mercedes as they make their way down the back straight. Dustin Warren apparently has had an issue. He's falling down the order. The pass is made there. Oh dear. Well, it looks like too many incidents there for Dustin Warren. This is, I think this is going to be a race where the post-race debrief is going to be quite the task.
Oh my word! That's Greg. That's Greg Boyce. He's picked up a black flag. Oh dear.
Okay. So, it looks like that black flag's been cleared by race control, but that is not how a Ferrari 296 should look. It's aerodynamically compromised at the very least. Meanwhile, the Aerokinetics 979 of Javi Sierra will find his way up a couple more positions. 4 places gained thus far for this BMW, and he stands a chance of gaining at least 1 more here if he can catch up to Williams.
Yeah, certainly right now he's got the Nicaraguan driver of Kenneth Narvaez right behind him. It's going to be AMG versus BMW. Certainly the BMW, not one of the more popular GT3 car choices for the longest time, as Sean Phillips has just picked up a meatball flag. Last I seen, he was passing Joshua Travis, so certainly I'm not quite sure what's happening there. We'll take a quick peek at his car. Indeed, that Chev, okay, I can see why.
Yep. Yeah, that's the front end gone, and he is slow. So, unfortunately, we'll see him potentially come together with Joshua Travis here. Travis had problems at this corner in the GT4 race earlier, and it looks like those problems have compounded. Manuel Sandoval just squeezes through there, but unfortunately you can't say the same for the Corvette.
Yeah, definitely the insurance bill. Well, you don't get insurance on a race car, really, but certainly the repair bill is going to be rather potent. But we're returning to this battle here as Javi Sierra very much under some pressure now. Kenneth Narvaez is right behind him, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly he is the beast in the TCR, but can he carry on that success here in the GTD class? Indeed, the GTD Pro, ladies and gentlemen, as right now he's got the... that's Pierce Fox.
Yeah, and Pierce Fox slow ahead. So looks like Pierce is going to have all his hard work come undone there. Kevin Rosario now sees a chance to move up another position. And, oh, goodness me, he almost saw a chance to move past. His brakes on the exit, though. It looks like Pacheco might have had a problem ahead of Fox, and Rosario's going to take advantage, or at least try to. It seems he's boxed in. No! Gets on the rear end of Pierce Fox, and the BMW goes sliding into the barriers at turn 9. My goodness, that is heavy damage then for Pierce Fox. And it looks like this was just contact in a straight line.
Yeah, I would not want to be the race control of that. That is, I would be issuing a penalty for that. I'll put it like that. That was pretty scandalous.
Not ideal for Pierce Fox. Well, now we'll see him come into pit lane. No surprise to see he's got very heavy damage on that car. Kerry Corcoran, meanwhile, is having a great time, up 10 positions to make his way into 8th, and he is looking at 2 more ahead of him. Ben Milik and Jack Minter, the 2 cars ahead, and Michael Belair leading this now, it looks like 8-car pack for 5th place.
Yeah, fair play to him. Definitely, at this point, I'd honestly just want some clean air. That would be my biggest request here. As we go and we check back in here with indeed Michael Belair. He's currently in P2 full class, in the GTD class. But right now, you can see behind him is the likes of Ben Malik. Certainly, these Zebra cars get a lot of time on the broadcast today, and not all of it as camouflage as they potentially like. Yeah,
turns out, despite camouflage, they are some of the more noticeable cars on circuit for all the moves they've been making. Well, Ben Milik, last time we really checked in on him, he was turned around in the final hairpin, and now you'll see a chance to move back past into P5. 14 minutes remain on the clock, and we've seen the Mercedes be the car of choice for quite a few drivers here. It's a nice machine, and it's very well positioned around this circuit, but how can Ben Milik find his way past?
Well, certainly we've got multiple drivers here rocking it. Joshua Wilford still running, albeit very out of place, ladies and gentlemen. He is in the same position where he started. One of the few drivers who is, including this man, Wilton Palermo. He's currently got Jay Williams behind him, but going into this race, he was indeed leading the GTT standings. Can he keep up with that? I'm going to say Michael Clark's looking pretty good right now. He's currently P3 overall, as we've got, I believe that's Chris Crone making a pass on Piers Fox, who's now lap traffic.
Yeah, just has to drive consistently, stay out of the way when a move is made. Michael Clark, being one of the most consistent drivers of this championship, sees the exit slightly compromised out of the final corner. This is going to bring him under a lot of pressure from Maxwell Budd, and it looks like Piers Fox is going to delay this move until turn 1, or maybe try and maintain the position here. He knows that he can be as quick, if not quicker, than Michael Clark, but has to go wide in turn 1 there to let him through. But now Clark under pressure for P3. Maxwell Budd is chasing.
Indeed he is. It looks like we've got a change of position further up the field, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Michael Belair has indeed had a little bit of an incident here with Ben Milik, as Milik has found his way ahead.
Yep, and that's the change for P5, and Belair picking up some damage. Milik up the inside of turn 1, and that was a nice move in the end. How the damage was gained here for Michael Belair remains to be seen. If it even was damage, I think it might just be his paint job and a trick of the light. But that car, I think, looks pretty undamaged, actually, all things considered. He's under more pressure, though. Jack Minter now trying on him, and Kerry Corcoran and Chris Bracetti are in tow.
Yeah, this could be a very interesting battle. Certainly, we're going to see 2 by 2, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Bracetti is going to be the camera guy. You'll carry Corcoran right ahead. He's also streaming on Twitch. It looks like all cuts across. Jack Minter there with the defense, parks in the middle as Corcoran is going to go up on the inside. We've seen this happen before. This time, they all managed to make it through, but incredibly close action. Kerry Corcoran getting the rotation from that Porsche. In the meantime, Michael Belair able to try and get a 7/10 of a second lead.
Now that move from Corcoran, that's how you do it at the final corner. Excellent stuff, and I think for Minter's credit, he went very wide to ensure that he could get out of the corner as well. He's going to try and make his way back past Bracetti here, but not enough of a run to get it done. Kenneth Narvaez now right up behind them. This is an intense battle for these last minor positions in the top 10. Got to keep an eye out for Palermo, Williams, Sierra, and Rosario as well. They're in this pack too.
Yeah, definitely this is starting to get spicy, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, Bracetti, all of these real street cars getting aggressive. Minter there pulling out of the way, I'd say, as now Narvaez looking to try and apply a bit more pressure as well. These guys are spicy tonight. Indeed, we make a reference about there being a kitchen. Well, these guys have turned the heat up all the way to the highest setting.
Oh, Narvaez getting into the wall there on the exit of turn 8, but he's managed to get the run here. With the Porsche being slightly compromised on straight line speed and corner speed as well, for that matter. Jack Minter with a very narrow line into those corners. Is there going to be a chance here for Narvaez to move past? He's going to have to wait. Wilton Palermo sees the opportunity ahead. This is such an insane pack, and these guys are all fighting for the last position in the top 6.
Indeed, we're going to go on board here with Kerry Corcoran. You got Michael Clark ahead of him. Michael Belair ahead of him as Corcoran's up there on the inside. He gets the move done in the braking, but it's not going to be enough side by side. Ladies and gentlemen, they go, and they're going to go too wide through the fountain. Corcoran gets ahead, and you see that Chris Bracetti. Oh my God, it's another murder, ladies and gentlemen. Bracetti gets caught up as well.
Oh. Yeah, Michael Belair getting turned by Chris Bracetti, who now has to defend here against Jack Minter, and this is going to compress the pack massively. Minter wide at turn 4, and there's going to be a spin there from Williams. Javi Sierra just makes his way through as well. My goodness, Jay Williams manages to get it turned around, but geez, this is chaos.
I got a feeling there may indeed be cups thrown. The way this is going, this is starting to be without a doubt, if I was going to see people start fighting, it's going to be from this race. I'd be curious to know what if you exclude the full course cautions, I'd be curious to know just how many incidents they were indeed around this track. Certainly very capable drivers, but the aggression level today has been absolutely paramount. I have to wonder, is it the weather potentially? Have we got greasy tires? Indeed, it's only 21 degrees Celsius. I can't blame it on that. I'm trying to defend these guys, but honestly, the aggression level's maybe gone a little bit too far for this course.
Yeah, street circuits do require you to back it off just a little bit. It's not like a regular racetrack where you've got runoff area aplenty and clear sight lines through the corners. Jack Minter with too much damage from that exchange, and he'll have to tour through the pits for damage. Well, Kerry Corcoran's found his way up into P6. He's doing quite well. Chris Brassetti, though, still trying desperately to hold on to 7th as Kenneth Narvaez has been on one heck of a charge. Meanwhile, Manuel Sandoval on a recovery, making up the position there on Michael Pacheco.
Yeah, fair play. Pacheco, I'd say, was a pretty honest driver. Certainly, he's managed to keep himself out of trouble. He's in the same position he started, but definitely attrition being a thing for a few of these drivers. Certainly, Kevin Narvaez, he's up 11 positions. Brassetti's up 9. Corcoran's up 9. Indeed, Quinn Manders, he's up 11 positions as well. Definitely a few people really benefiting from these incidents here.
Yep, being safe and staying out of trouble is key, as Belair, after his crash in the contact there with Brassetti, has had to tow back to pit lane, and I don't think we're going to be seeing him back out on circuit anytime soon. 7 minutes to go, and while all of this has been happening, we still have this battle going on between Michael Clark and Maxwell Budd. Budd getting to the apex a little bit faster than Clark did, but Michael's been incredibly consistent here today. He could get an overall 3rd place finish, but Bud's doing everything he can to psych him out.
Yeah, certainly, if you can't beat them on pace, definitely get into the mindset of the driver. And currently, he's going to be occupying that mirror. Actually, we'll take a look here from Michael Clark's point of view. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful thing about a Lamborghini, it has a camera for a mirror, and you can see there is a bright blue and white Porsche. Pretty much getting a full HD vision there, straight to the driver. That is the one and only Mr. Michael Clark.
No move at the final hairpin. Hooks up the apex nicely, winding on all of the steering lock you can, and just hoping that the car doesn't spin the wheels on the exit. It's such a difficult surface at Long Beach. Public roads, of course, so the grip level is a little bit lower than it would be at a dedicated racetrack. Meanwhile, our leader, Alex Zart, has maintained the lead at about 3 seconds from Chris Krohn. Chris has been reasonably fast here, but Alex Zart, evidently not without his issues, unless this is an erroneous crash warning being triggered by a run through the final corner. Evidently it is.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought he'd picked up some damage. You know, what's really surprising, that was Joshua Wilford you just saw ahead of him. That is how different the standings are. We're going to return to this battle here, as it looks like lap traffic's going to come into play, as Maxwell Budd applying a good amount of pressure there to the one and only Mr. Michael Clark.
Yep, the lapped traffic in question will surely be a problem in the final sector, unless Amrit Vestrala there in the Mercedes jumps out of the way. He's trying his best to hold on to his pace, up 2 positions so far, but had a black flag to serve earlier, so he is really on the back foot out of this one. The man who finished in 4th place in the GT4 race earlier, wide through the final corner, and it looks like Maxwell Budd has to go super tight to even stand a chance of making his way around him. That's going to cost him slightly in the battle with Michael Clark.
Yeah, we're going to see how that works out as well. Vestrala realistically does not have to cave and give this position. I think he will, though. His sportsmanship is pretty up there as he gets some razzle-dazzle there. And indeed, he's decided to keep his foot in it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to separate this battle.
Yep, of course, this being sports car racing, blue flags are advisory only. Once the that's going to make things easy. Amrit Vestrala coming to a stop there, managed to just keep it out of the concrete, but got to be careful with how you recover and get rolling again. Fortunately, plenty of room to get it done there, but Ben Millick's going to come up on him here, flashing the lights and letting Amrit know he is coming. Oh, and Vestrala evidently with more problems there, into the wall again. This has been a disastrous race for many of our top competitors.
That is a very polite way of putting it, but I've got to give a shout out to this man, Kevin Navarez. He's currently the hardest charger, and indeed, he's earned it, ladies and gentlemen. He's kept that car clean. He's applied a good amount of pressure to many drivers through the field, and indeed, he's got a pretty clean-looking Mercedes. As I say that, he gives a little bit of a booty slap to the wall, but right now, he's got the Mustang, the Corvette ahead of him there of Chris Bassetti, who's currently trying to chase down Kerry Corcoran, who's pretty much just said, thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm checking out, leave me to my own devices. And indeed, he's currently running in P6 overall.
12 places gained for Kerry Corcoran. It's a magnificent run for the Stars and Stripes Porsche here. Let's see what more he can do. As things stand, 3 minutes to go, and that is about 3 laps to go. Okay, interesting. You say he's gained 9 positions. My timing is telling me 12. So I'm not entirely sure what's gone on there for Kerry Corcoran. On my end, I think my timing freaking out. But regardless, it's been a great run up through the field for Kerry. Kenneth Narvaez, meanwhile, still chasing down Chris Bracetti there. And looks like Wilton Palermo might become a part of this fight if Narvaez can't hold on to the car.
Yeah, I literally just said he was doing really well, keeping it clean indeed. As soon as I say that, it gets a little bit of a tank slap at the lap after certainly Nico Walker driver under some pressure now. And indeed, that's given Chris Bracetti the opportunity he's been looking for. He can now focus on Kerry Corcoran, who's just ahead. He's gained 0.6 of a second on that last lap. He's got about 3 minutes of this race left to go. Is Kerry Corcoran going to be able to hold on for P4 in class, indeed P6 overall? Meanwhile, Michael Clark and Maxwell Budd are still going at it.
Yep. Every time Maxwell Budd gets a run, though, it feels like something happens to push him back a little further. Maybe this is the lap where he makes the move. Once again, has a look at Michael Clark there, playing those psychological games there. You move around in the braking zone, and that can distract your rival, force them into a mistake. It's a common and well-used tactic, but at the moment, Michael Clark seems to be holding strong against it.
Well, certainly he's under a lot of pressure right now, but I can tell you that Chris Krohn currently has a slowdown flag to his name. I'm going to say he took a little bit too much of the thing. There you go. He's got that cleared, as indeed we are going to return. As further back, we start to get a 4-way battle up here between Kenneth Navarez, Wilton Palermo, Kevin Rosario, and indeed Javi Sierra as well. The Puerto Rican drivers coming up in storm here tonight.
Yes, they're doing quite well, aren't they? Javi Sierra up into 11th place there. And that is 7 positions gained for him. He'll be very happy with how things have gone, but there's still a few positions beckoning ahead. Narvaez, Palermo, and Rosario are lapping consistently, but not without errors.
Indeed, certainly there is an opportunity afoot, ladies and gentlemen. As you see here, Wilton Palermo, let's take a look at his camera right now. He's looking pretty chill, working hard, and you can see ahead of him, Kenneth Navarez is an opportunity. That would get him onto the GTD podium if he can make his way by. Runs a little bit deep through the final corner, a little bit of a graze on the wall. That's going to compromise his exit speed indeed. It's going to be an opportunity for Kevin Rosario as we see the white flag.
Yeah, white flag already waving for our leader, Alex Zart, as looks like there won't be much of a change of position in that area we were just looking at. Zart holding on to a lead now of 4.5 seconds and change with Chris Krohn's slowdown. Ruining his run there to try and take the race win back. Zart has had a very interesting race so far. He's had to manage the front of the field through those safety car periods, and the confusion in the second safety car period giving him an advantage. A spin out of the final corner, though, for car number 26. That's Tommy Polte, who's in a very tough spot there. Not sure if he'll be able to actually get going anytime soon, but Alex Zart is coming across the line to win. A fantastic job from our championship leader. Maybe some questions over that second restart, though. Chris Krohn will finish in second, with Michael Clark holding off Maxwell Budd for third overall and winning the GTD class. A fantastic job from the number 36.
I gotta say, shout out to this man as well, Kenneth Navarez. He is indeed the hardest charger of the field so far, but don't get me wrong, it looks like Wilton Palermo is going to try and fight back. It's going to be a drag race down to the start finish, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed, it looks like he's going to be able to hold on. He gets that position in the bag. But I gotta say, Wilton Palermo put in a fantastic run there. The start finish had been a little bit further back. I think he would have got the better of him. Having Sierra there, applying a good amount of pressure as well. With the livery we've seen previously here on Pit Road Productions, driven by the one and only Mr. Cal Mangori.
Yes, indeed. Good to see Aerokinetics making appearances on our shows still. After all this time, Andrew Garov finishes in 21st place. Those are the first few cars a lap down there. Joshua Travis and Pierce Fox finishing just ahead of him. Joshua Wilford, the last car on the lead lap. This is not the Joshua Wilford that we know and love. Long Beach, I think, is a track that he'll be very glad to see the back of.
Yeah, certainly if you got drop rounds, this would probably be one that a few drivers would want to cash in on. But Michael Clark, I gotta say, he drove today perfectly. Like, he's able to stay out of the wreckages. He was able to stay, keep it clean, keep it consistent. And indeed, I gotta say that was without a doubt his best drive. Often struggles a little bit in qualifying. Today, he managed to make it all come together. And indeed, he's been rewarded for his efforts. A GTT win and indeed a third overall.
Yeah, I think if we were given out a Driver of the Day award, Clark would be the one receiving it. Here's the results then. Alex Zart finishes in P1 with Chris Krohn taking up that middle spot on the podium, with Michael Clark winning the GTD class and third overall. Maxwell Budd pressuring him there for that final spot on the podium, with Ben Mielik rounding out the top 5. Kerry Corcoran gaining 9 spots to finish in P6. Chris Brassetti finishes behind him and ahead of Kenneth Narvaez, who is our hardest charger today. Wilton Palermo and Kevin Rosario rounding out the top 10.
Take a look there at P11, the winner of the CCR race earlier, and indeed able to get 11th place overall was Javi Sierra with Manuel Sandoval in 12th. Michael Pacheco took 13th with Jay Williams there in 14th. Quinn Manders took 15th. Greg Boyce, one of the few Ferraris in the grid, actually the only Ferrari in the grid, ladies and gentlemen, he took 16th with Jack Minter in 17th. Joshua Wilford, incredibly out of context today, he's there in 18th. Joshua Travis in 19th, and indeed Pierce Fox definitely having a rough night tonight. He's there in 20th.
Indeed, Andrew Garov in 21st place. Michael Belair, such a disappointment for him. He was in contention for a top 5 at least, but a turnaround contact with another car putting him down to 22nd. O'Brien finishes in 23rd ahead of Sean Phillips, with Tommy Polte and Amrit Vestrala unable to make it to the end with any pace there. Hans Brady 7 laps down. Mike Rose, Dustin Warren ultimately retiring from this one, with CJ Conklin serving in race control. That is your field for the GT3 race. A brutal GT3 race that was broken up by a couple of safety car periods, and Alex Zart was right on the scene for seeing the back of that pace car for a few laps. Alex, how was it for you?
Yeah, it was a really interesting race. Each caution came out obviously in the first corner on each of them, but they all felt a little different. The third one was really odd. The pace car either will say catch the pace car or wait for the pace car, and it kind of shifted in that one. So it said catch the pace car. I started to take off, and nobody seemed to come with me. So that last restart was pretty straightforward at that point. But never even did see the pace car in that. So a couple odd things to work out there, but a tricky track, of course, here at Long Beach. It's really difficult to go side by side anywhere. Had a couple nice runs with Chris there side by side, but other than that, a pretty quiet race.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of Chris Krohn, he did have some very interesting legs up on you in the early stages there. He tried to get up the inside of turn 1. We're just looking at on the prod feed now. You really had to give room in those opening laps because that Merc looked rapid.
Yeah, big respect to Chris on that. It's really tricky to go side by side around the fountain there, and we made it work. And yeah, just cold tires off the restart, just outbroke myself a little bit. Was able to make the corner at least, but he got a huge run there, and yeah, he gave me a run for my money for sure.
Well, you should maintain your championship lead out of this one. It's been a good run of results for you thus far, Alex, and I suppose now the focus is on keeping the momentum forward into next week.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a tricky few weeks here for sure, but was able to come out on top on a few races, so that always works well, and exciting for the rest of the season. Quick shout out to Melissa, Mom, Jeff, and Yana if you're watching as well. Thanks guys for watching, and a great work on the broadcast crew as well, per usual. Can't wait to watch it back.
Thanks very much, Alex, and we'll be obviously seeing you again at Daytona next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Alex Zart there, winner overall and in the GTD Pro class. And well, Zippy, it looks like Alex is the only driver to join us thus far from the field, and honestly, I don't blame them. I think the drivers are going to need a rest after tonight's proceedings.
Well, certainly, Alex, if you want to do us a favor, go grab Michael Clark for us. Certainly would love to have a chat with him indeed. He's currently there chatting with CJ, but I got to say, Michael Clark definitely had one of the better drives we've seen today, but definitely a rough time to be in race control, without a doubt. It was definitely a rough do indeed. I got to say, it was an interesting race, with no doubt about that. As indeed, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we've been able to get him here. Michael Clark. Reese, I tell you what, why don't you do the honors?
Okie dokes, 2 interviews in a row for me. Michael Clark, my goodness, you must be hyped with that. Not only a great qualifying performance at a track where it's very difficult to get a clean lap in, but you were holding off Maxwell Budd for pretty much the whole race there. You must have been under so much pressure.
I got nothing. Mike?
Earth to Michael. Try Morse code, see if that works.
To Michael Clark.
Oh, nice. Well, we'll give Michael a little bit of time to sort his microphone there as we find our way towards the end of the show here. We've got Chris Crone here with us in the meantime. Do you have us?
Yes, sir.
Excellent job today. You were piling the pressure on Alex Zart there in the early stages. Unfortunately, some of the confusion in that second caution period put you back.
Yeah, it seemed like we were going to do another lap because we didn't have the pace car. And then all of a sudden, it just said, get ready, going green. So I saw Zart was 5 seconds ahead of me. I stepped on it and pretty much killed my race.
Well, regardless, I think you should still be very happy with a second place finish there. It's a good points haul to have at a track where it was very likely you'd ended in the wall.
Yep, absolutely.
How do you think Daytona's going to go for you? We're opening up the walls a little bit, and the speeds will get ever higher.
Yeah, I think the AMG will do well. Cars like the Lambo and possibly the Mustang will be disadvantaged. I think the 911 is going to have the overall best advantage due to its less drag in the new update. Hopefully a top 5 finish, though. It is a home track for me, so I do expect to do good.
Excellent stuff. Good run of results for you and all of the Real Sim Racing crew tonight. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, man. Well, shout out everyone at Effect Vodka and all of my teammates who raced with me tonight.
Good job from Chris Crone there to finish second place in the end. A good couple of seconds ahead of Michael Clark, who we're going to check in on again. Do you have us, Michael? It would appear not. I don't think we're going to get the chance to speak to Michael Clark here today, Zippy, but I understand Ben Millick's shown up.
Indeed, Ben, definitely a pleasure to have you here in the booth. Certainly, I've got to ask, these Real Sim Racing liveries here, we're starting to see a bit of a pattern, and it tends to be quite an aggressive bunch of drivers amongst yourselves. Indeed, the Real Street are keeping it real, but yourself able to make it into P2 in class, I believe, and indeed P7 overall. Tell us, actually, no, I'm looking at the wrong timing thing here, but anyway, definitely.
I think it was something like that.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Certainly, Reese, you can figure out the blanks that I'm missing here. But certainly, Ben, I got to say, tell us what the mantra is behind your team, because honestly, like, you make for great entertainment on the broadcast, but the aggression is absolutely insane from you guys. Is this like a characteristic of getting into the Real Street Sim Racing team, or like, is it just the nature of the guys? By all means, fill us in on the blanks here.
It's a bit the nature. We're a bunch of competitive guys. We all work for a race parts distribution company. We also sell sims, Podium 1 sims, and just all around race guys. So we're a little bit competitive within ourselves also. But yeah, we're trying to step it up, you know, get a little bit aggressive. That's a interesting track. You got to be very cautious in the beginning, which I got taken out, as you saw, in the hairpin, which I'm not sure why. Had some damage and was definitely off pace, but just tried to keep the car together and not hit the walls, which I managed to do. So
Well, it definitely made for a very interesting show, but certainly we're going to give our sympathies here to CJ Conklin, who's had to deal with race control. Certainly, as a guy who runs the Sim Center, I have a feeling you may have encountered this kind of experience. And certainly, if you haven't, what do you think it would feel like to be in race control for an event like this?
I wouldn't want to do it, to be honest. This race was probably you could imagine between Detroit and this track, and I know we're also doing Adelaide. Those street courses are brutal in real life, and they're brutal in sim. The conditions were pretty humid, I think, which is not like California. I used to live there, but it's you had to be a little careful with the tires, and you're definitely with the throttle input in the Mercedes. That was an interesting one. I'm sure CJ was pretty much just nonstop hitting buttons, which it looked like. So,
well, certainly, I think we're gonna summarize that, and certainly, I'd say that Ben, you've definitely got some sympathy there for the league admin. I know I certainly have, and certainly everybody at home as well. It's definitely, when you get to watch these broadcasts, indeed, we do the stuff behind the booth, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, the guys running the leagues, without a doubt, the most stressful part of the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt. So certainly,
100%.
Show some love for your league admin. It's definitely, after a race like that, if you are feeling a little bit irritated or a little bit fired up, give it 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Just decide, there's only so many ducks you can give in a day. We're going to say ducks, ladies and gentlemen. Pick a cute rubber ducks that you might see in Arc Raiders, the inflatable duck, whatever you want to call it. But certainly, there's only so many ducks you can give in a day, and you have to give a duck about like your health, your family, your work. But that incident that, maybe your friend went in a little bit too hard, you got to decide just how many ducks is it worth giving? Is it worth giving so many ducks that you go and make it even more stressful for somebody who goes and takes a lot of their free time to help organize this league and give people a place to race? So certainly think about that if just on the off chance you want to go and politely choose that guy's ears off, because indeed there is a duck budget, ladies and gentlemen. I have a feeling that it may have indeed been spent by a few people here today. But ladies and gentlemen, as far as I can tell, Ben, you are the leader of Real Street Sim Racing, if I'm not mistaken.
To an extent, I run the sim sales side of things, so yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, from myself, from Ben Malik as well, from Real Street Sim Racing, I have a feeling we could both agree with that. But Reese, if you'd like to do the honor, sir, I think we're going to call this one a day, and we'll have a chat with CJ after the broadcast has gone down. Certainly, we're going to give him some appreciation, but what an absolute belter of a round in some ways, and what it was a lot.
Yeah, certainly was. I think that's the best way to describe the GT3 race at Long Beach. A lot. We had a great race as well in GT4 and TCR, so a fantastic night all up in terms of entertainment value at the very least. From all of us here, we thank you for viewing, and if you were in the chat as well, glad to have you along. Recently passed 1,000 subscribers on Pit Road Productions, so help to keep that momentum going. Press that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get notified when our next shows are going up. A big thanks to the entire admin crew for this league and all of the sponsors that we have thanked throughout the show: Carbless, Nixon Power, Moser Racing, Speed Designs, and of course Podium 1 Racing. My name's Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box here on Pit Road Productions. We'll see you next week at Daytona.